What's going on, everybody? I'm super excited for this video. We're going to break down exactly what I would do if I were to start off with $0, zero experience, zero knowledge going into real estate. And we're going to break down everything I would do to go back to building financial freedom in as quick of a way as possible. So tune in, buckle up, get really focused. This is going to be a really amazing video. I'm really excited for this one. Yesterday, I spoke with somebody who was just getting started in real estate. They had zero experience, very low capital availability, and they're starting from the ground up with a full commitment about figuring out what they can do in real. So today, I want to bring you to a theoretical world where I started back again with zero knowledge, zero money, zero resources, just a strong desire and commitment to make real estate work, and the exact steps I would take to go about making it work. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Philip Loudon. I was in this situation a handful of years ago. We started our wholesaling company with a few $1,000s, and I had zero knowledge or expertise in real estate whatsoever. If you've watched this channel, you've heard me say I didn't know what the word mortgage meant. I knew absolutely nothing. I spent most of my 20s living in Southeast Asia. I rented properties. I never owned any properties in the United States. I didn't use debt. I knew very, very little. But I did know that the majority of people in the world built wealth through real estate. There's just a part of me for a very long time that knew that real estate was something that I was interested in and that I wanted to go about learning more about. Since then, we've done over 200 transactions. We've sold around 70 houses on seller financing and built up a nice portfolio of passive real estate investments. So today, I'm going to bring you through the journey. If I was just getting started in real estate, I'm going to share with you the stages that I would go through and exactly how I would go through them. And this is the same framework I've used over and over again, just as a human being to learn things and excel at them and to succeed where 90% of people fail, right? In every single business that you do, there's a 90% fail rate. And most of that fail rate comes from people just not having the persistence to continue moving forwards and not having the dedication to move forwards. I preach it once, I'll preach it 1,000 times. We play in decades. The real goal in real estate is not to get rich quick. It's not a get rich quick game. It is a game where the longer you stay in, the higher likelihood you have to succeed. So the longer you can survive, the longer you can keep doing it. This is something we do for our entire lives. I'll talk to you in a future video. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently with billionaire real estate investors and just hearing their stories from the ground up. And it's really amazing. We'll have a video coming out about those next week. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay. I want to start off starting from zero with no money or no experience, because there's a few very tangible steps that we're going to have to go through. My goal in this call is to give you guys a clear roadmap and to really just focus in these skills. There are three phases that we must go through and build as we go about doing anything really. And first, we need to develop the skills, and then we need to stack the capital, and then we need to go into wealth building, right? And if you want to look at the four stages of investments, what I've learned over the past 6 years about the four stages for building wealth in real estate, you can find that in a different one of our videos. So phase one, I have $0, I have zero experience. This is where we need to just dive in and swim in it. When I was starting my first ever business, I was a backpacker. I was 23. I was working on farms in Australia. My visa finished. I went to Bali, Indonesia, and I met my first digital nomad. It was a guy that was Argentinian. I met him on a cruise between islands. He was doing e-commerce. He was drop shipping. He was buying stuff from eBay, selling it on Shopify. And it was this strange thing that he was doing. And he's my first clue into how people are working remotely and making money for themselves. I knew nothing, absolutely zero. Same as when I started real estate. So I talked to him, asked him tons of questions like, what are you doing? What exactly are you doing? I built a friendship. I reached out to him. Shortly after that, I bought a $200 computer. I would work in this place called Bali Bohemia, Ubud, Bali. I was on the top floor next to the monkey forest. There's monkeys crawling all around. There's me and my little $200 laptop just plugging away, trying to learn how to do e-commerce. I knew nothing, but I reached out to this guy and asked him questions. Around this time, my $200 computer was absolutely garbage, and I would try to do things on it and had like 2 gigabytes of RAM, and it would just get too frozen. I couldn't do all the things. And this girl that I was living with had this broken Mac computer, and I was like, I really want this broken Mac. Maybe I can figure out how to fix it so I can get a computer that moves at the speed of my brain. I'm not just stuck here plugging away and everything's frozen all the time and driving me crazy. So I went to a place called The Outpost. It's a co-working place in Bali. I never wanted to work in these co-working spaces because they were like $150 per month. And that was a lot of money for me. I didn't have a whole lot of money. I was like, that's insane. You're paying $150 a month to just sit in a co-working space. I can just sit in a coffee shop for way less than this. I needed good internet, and it was nighttime. Got the space, and it was like $30 to use it for the night. just like for one day. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. We need the internet. And the guy with me is this bald guy. And he's like, yeah, sure. He asked me what I was doing. I told him, he offered, can I help you? And throughout the night, I learned that this guy was actually the owner of the co-working space. So that night we figured it out. We fixed the laptop, rebooted all the things. I'm not a technological guy, but Googled my way to getting this laptop fixed. And then the guy, David, owned the co-working space. I went to David and I said, hey, David, I've been learning how to do websites. Do you think that I could use your co-working space for free in exchange for helping you with things? And he was like, sure. And that is how I got my first, I guess you can call it an internship, where I worked for free in exchange for a co-working space. The next step was in this co-working space. I met this guy, Wes. Wes was this Australian guy. He's a wild looking dude, always there with his son. He was there longer than most people, just plugging away. And Wes was a cool guy. I started talking to him. And I started being like, what do you do? And he was doing web design. During this time at the co-working space, I would be the first one there and the last one to leave. I was committed to figuring out some sort of way to survive and make money because I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to have to go back to the United States and work a job that I didn't care about. So I came in and worked really hard, given that I was doing a horrible job of getting any traction because I was chasing after 8 different types of businesses at once. If you ever has shiny object syndrome, let us know in the comments, because this is one of the biggest challenges people face at the beginning of doing anything. This is also what you'll face if you're doing real estate. If you're looking into RV parks and wholesaling, co-living, tax liens, pre-foreclosures, door knocking, texting, and other different things, you're not going to get any success, especially if you're any brain person like myself. It's very easy to see the value in all these different things. So this is one of the first lessons that we have. Don't chase shiny objects. Get really, really, really focused. And we'll go into this. I was at this co-working space and I met Wes, and I said, hey man, can I work for you for free? I just want to see what you're doing. He's paying me $100 an hour Australian, which to me was like super large amount at that time and blew my mind away. So he's making really good money. I wanted to help him and I would hang out with him and he would give me small tasks, and I'm not great at technology. So it was not a great position for me, but I went ahead and I helped him. So I started helping him and I gave him value. Through that experience, I learned another thing I wasn't good at, but also he started paying me like $20 an hour. And I was like, okay, amazing, cool. Let me help you do whatever I can help you with. And then Wes said, Phil, come with me to Thailand. He brought me to Chiang, Thailand, which is one of the digital nomad capitals of the world. He brought me there and left me. After he left, he just disappeared. I didn't have a job anymore, but he brought me into like a university for people working online work. And that's where I started talking to more people and just having this conversation. So the first phase that we have is skills. So this is where we surround ourselves by people that are doing what we want to do. So at this point, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to work online. So I was around all these digital nomads. And through that, I would ask them questions and I would talk to them and I would see what they're doing. This is the exact same thing I want you to do with people in real estate in your local communities. One of the biggest things we do and why we have our community called Wrap Academy is to elevate your social group. If you're around people that have no idea what you're working on, have no idea anything about real estate, and you're the only one on YouTube University doing it, can that work? Yes. But imagine that you're surrounded by people that are doing 100 deals a year, people that have 100 rentals, people that have doing 100 flips a year. That elevation is what is going to lead to the most results. We want to elevate the people that we are around. And ideally, if we have the resources, join some sort of mentorship or mastermind where you can be surrounded by these people all the time. Go to real estate investment meetups if you're doing a local market, talk to people, go to other real estate events, really be surrounded by these people. Step number 2. So now we're surrounding ourselves by these people. I like to find the biggest buyers, ask them questions, see how I can be of service, see what I can help them with. Maybe I can bird dog them deals. Maybe I can find them deals, right? So we want to get paid as we learn. If I'm starting from $0 and 0 experience, I want to get paid while I learn. The next step is learning underwriting. What is underwriting? I should have a video that's just on what is underwriting, but the idea of underwriting is learning how to pencil deals. If you look at my other videos, I showed tons of different videos of underwriting. I have full videos about how we underwrite our wrap deals and lease option deals. We want to learn what our buyers are doing with these deals. What makes a good deal? What are our buyers doing with these deals? It took me a long time in wholesaling to really understand what my buyers were doing with their deals. I was focused on doing the quick flips, getting the properties under contract and getting the properties over to our end buyers, but I wasn't actually understanding what they were doing with the deals. And this is what underwriting is all about. Underwriting is all about really mastering the process and learning what makes a deal, because if you don't know what makes a deal, then you are not going to hit the success you want. Step number 2 is underwriting 5 deals per day. So as we underwrite 5 deals per day, we're looking at properties, we're going on to Zillow, we're seeing for sale by owners. You can easily find properties listed for sale by owners on Zillow. As we're driving, we're looking for, signs in the yard, for rent signs, for sale signs. We're calling those numbers. We're talking to people. We're having those conversations. We're finding the deals. And then we're going to start understanding what our buyers are looking for. As you start to underwrite, you're going to learn how to calculate after repair values. You're going to learn how to calculate very basic repair estimates. You're going to learn what people are doing with deals. What are flippers looking for? What are landlords looking for? What are co-living people looking for? What are people who do wraps and lease options looking for? You're going to start seeing the patterns of what your buyers are looking for. And step number 2 is underwrite 5 deals per day. Find 5 deals per day, talk to the people, and underwrite these deals. And now we're building the skills, because remember, we're compounding skills. We're building the skills over time. The skills can never be taken away from us. So the next is learning sales. This is shadowing and osmosis. So when I first started getting into real estate, the thing that I started really focusing on was sales. I wanted to learn how to go about and get properties, just learn the skill set of sales. When I was doing entrepreneurship, it's funny, parents are very funny. For me, my mom would always be like, when are you going to get a job? Are you going to do this job? And I'm like, no, I'm working for myself. This is what I'm doing. She would always ask me. And so I had that thought in my head, if I were to get a job, what would I do? And what could I get paid for those jobs? And as I stacked skills over time through entrepreneurship and through 10 years of entrepreneurship, I saw my dollar per hour going up significantly with every skill set that I learned. Sales is one of the most important skill sets that we can ever do. When I first started looking, I was like, I could probably make like 60,000 a year, 150,000 a year, 200,000, 350, 500. As I grew my skill sets and my abilities, then my value to the marketplace, to the global economy increased a lot over time. Sales is one of the most important skill sets you can ever have. And I'm definitely not the greatest salesperson in the world, right? But I studied it and I learned it. I went onto YouTube and found a series called the Cold Call Olympics. These are 3 different videos, 3 hours long each. It's just people cold calling people. And it's people who are wizards at sales. Keith Everett is one of them. And Max Maxwell, I think, was on there. Anyways, Steve Trang, like a handful of these guys who are really, really good at sales. And when I'm in the kitchen, I was washing dishes, I would be listening to this over and over again, like phone calls with sellers, taking what I learned. I was listening to Jordan Belfort's The Way of the Wolf, the audiobook. I listened to that book 3 times, just listening to it over and over again, taking notes, surrounding myself with the people I want to be like through listening to this stuff all the time. We are one of the most blessed situations of all humanity because we have access to incredible wisdom at a moment's notice. I listen to a podcast where it's just a bunch of billionaires talking about their entire life story. I sit there and I do jigsaw puzzles and I listen to these podcasts. This is how I'm allowing the information to come in and putting it into action. I'm listening to the sales calls and I'm calling people. I'm learning the structure, the straight line selling system that Jordan Belfort has. The whole idea is that there's a straight line from cold prospect to sale. And as you go, you're going down the straight line and you're gathering information as you're building rapport and building that relationship. All sales is service. Most people think that sales is this dirty word. Well, no, sales is a skill set, and good sales come from being of service to people. If you can find a motivated seller, understand what they need, understand how to underwrite a deal, know where you have to be to make it work as an investment, and then figure out how to put those pieces together to best serve that seller, you can build a really amazing business and a lifetime of wealth. Sales, they're shadowing through osmosis. I hang out a lot with Jordan Belfort on my Audible account. I hang out a lot with the guys who are doing the Cold Call Olympics. It's literally 9 hours of them cold calling people, and they're really good at it. We want to be very confident in our underwriting and have those relationships. Hopefully we've talked to a few buyers, we've given them time, we've given them value, being of service to people, we've given them value. Now we have these relationships, we're learning the skill of underwriting, we're learning the skill of sales. And now as you've gone through this and you've just done stuff for free by yourself, you now have a skill set that can make you 6 figures. And I think that brings us to our next section. So the next section is phase 2, money. For 3 to 6 months is getting paid while you learn. There are 2 different ways to do this. So one is bird dogging. What is bird dogging? When you go hunting, you shoot a bird and the bird falls down, the bird dog goes and it gathers the thing for you and brings it back, right? So I think that I'm not a hunter, but I think that's how it works. So bird dogging is just, you're going to find for sale by owners or signs in the yard, and you're getting deals kind of lined up and teeing it up for a buyer. Now you've talked to a few buyers, hopefully you built some good relationships, you're building that skill of underwriting, you're starting to look into sales a little bit more, you're really gathering those skill sets, and now you want to get paid while you learn. This is how you make it work, right? Because if you can get paid now a six-figure salary to work for someone else and do sales for their wholesaling company, amazing. Or if you want to build your own wholesaling company, also amazing. But the goal here now is, as you're stacking these skill sets, as you're growing in value, as you're becoming the type of person that can't help but make wealth in real estate, you're now making money. And the goal is to start stacking a little bit of money. You can bird dog, which is a little bit less work. Wholesaling is you're getting the properties fully under contract and selling that contract, which is a little bit more work. On average, we were getting about $12,000 per wholesale when we had a scaled up wholesaling operation. I think our first deal was $8,000. Second deal was, that was two houses. One was 2,000. I think one was maybe 12,000 or 14,000. And so this is where you're getting paid while you earn, right? And so there's so many ways to do this. You've already talked to people, you've gone to real estate meetups, you've built relationships, you're surrounding yourself with people in your market. As you do this, you're building up these relationships, right? Now let's get paid while we're learning. This goes to our next goal outcome. Our goal outcome is to have $10,000 in our bank account in reserves for investing in real estate. Obviously, the more the merrier. If you get $80,000 through wholesaling and have that saved up for investing in buy and hold properties, you're going to be in an amazing situation, right? You're going to have a lot of ability to build generational wealth and financial freedom with our model. Another mindset shift, once again, we are evolving ourselves as we do this. It's just like you're playing a video game, and every single time you learn sales and you have those phone calls and you're building up those skills, your level's going up, you're going to the next level, right? You're evolving. And as we evolve, if I stop working for myself, which I don't think it would make sense to do unless it was a world-changing project, I know I can make $350,000, $400,000, $450,000 working for another company, right? With this skill set, you should be able to make six figures. Does it take work? Yes, of course. You've heard my story. We got to show up and do the actual work. That's what life's about. There is no easy button. Even if we won the freaking lottery winners on average are not super fulfilled. Not the point of life. Anyways, okay. Outcome here is $10,000 to $80,000 earned. Plus, we have these buyer relationships, which is really valuable. And now we're starting to surround ourselves by the type of people that we want to be around. We're surrounding ourselves by successful real estate investors. We're surrounding ourselves by people good at sales. We're making the calls. We're learning the underwriting. And we're learning these extremely valuable skill sets that are going to allow for us to do really amazing stuff in real estate. We're not taking shortcuts. We're learning. We're thinking in decades. We're living a life of freedom while we're making money. After 6 months, now we are getting into the phase of wealth building. This is an amazing phase. This is a fun phase. Once again, the journey is the destination. Learning sales, getting your first deals, that's fun. That is an amazing time and an amazing experience. Also, holding on to your first buy and hold asset, nothing like it. An absolutely amazing experience. Going from $0 in cash flow to your first $1,000 in cash flow, it's amazing. It's really, really incredible. And that is the next step. We talk in other videos about different ways to acquire properties. It's not necessarily the scope here. We can buy creatively. We can do the jacket strategy. And we have many different ways to do deals. Our exit strategy is selling on wraps and lease options. What's a wrap? We have a whole series on what is a wrap. Wraps, the general idea is there are families that want to buy houses. They can't qualify with the banks. Instead of renting to them, we sell to them on seller financing. We have a house that we've got financing in place on, which we teach how to do. We then sell it on seller financing to them. Those families have ownership mindset. So they're responsible for all repairs, all maintenance, all everything. We just collect cash flow. It's how we create passive assets that give us cash flow. Because the goal is to break out of the rat race. We don't want to be in the rat race. We want to be outside of the rat race. How do you get out of the rat race? You get out of the rat race by having more money coming in than you spend every single month. That is the goal, right? If you spend $6,000 per month, then you get $6,000 of cash flow coming in, you pay that to your expenses, and now you can take a step back because you don't have to start from zero every single month. The strategy that we do are wraps and lease options. Now, imagine that you've gotten 10 houses on you, $5,000 to $10,000 per month of passive residual income. You've now successfully escaped the rat race. Congratulations. Small note, most people, when they go about doing this, when people's income increases, their expenses usually increase. It's silly. It's crazy how many people live paycheck to paycheck, even multi-six-figure earners. Be smart with your money. I drive a Honda Accord. Could I get a really nice showy car? Sure. I'd rather buy more houses and build more wealth because that's more fun. And I am very cool with my Honda Accord that I've had for 5 years. This is the goal, escaping the rat race. This is where we're getting to. We're building skills along the way. And simultaneously, the journey is the destination. Enjoy the journey. Everything is an evolution for ourselves. We are growing as individuals and becoming more valuable human beings in the marketplace. All of that is fun and amazing. Surround yourself by people that are doing these deals. If you want to work with us, we have a community of 65, 70 people that all help each other out and they're all doing this stuff together. Come hang out with us, come join us. Surround yourself with the right people to get to this point because you need to be showing up, getting feedback, and learning these skills. Okay, amazing. We are chugging our way along. We have now figured out how to stack skills, let's go back through our entire process here. So we've gone back through starting from zero, no money. We are finding our roadmap. We're going through the 3 phases. We're building skills, making money while we build skills. And now we're on to wealth building. First 3 months, work to get the skills, right? Make money while you get the skills. Practice underwriting, practice sales, talk to people, build your community, build your network, surround yourself with people who are where you want to be. Change your reality, change your life, change your surroundings, change your life. Next step, we are in the video game of real life. Remember, now we are getting 10 houses that we're doing on Wraps release options. We're getting that $5,000, $10,000 per month of passive residual income. We're continuing to stack skills, right? We make money with active income to cover our life. We're then using the extra money to buy houses. We're finding deals at good values. We're underwriting those deals well. We're surrounding ourselves with really high level people. The outcome we're going for here is passive income and long-term wealth. So this is really the journey, right? This is the journey, what I would do if I was starting from absolutely nothing. This is the process. And this is also zero knowledge, right? At this stage, you can throw me once again, like in any random place in the world, and I would figure it out. Because I already have the skill sets. So I don't need to rebuild the skill sets. But at first, if I didn't have the skill sets, I'd be focused on the skill sets because that's the most important thing. You're building these skill sets and you're playing the long game. Skill stacking, playing decades, not days. When I first started in business, my goal was to make $1,000 a month. I have a 30-day challenge that I did about 10 years ago where I was doing a YouTube video every single day. I was trying to make my first $1,000 online. I was posting every single day on my Facebook and YouTube as being like 30-day challenge. So I was doing these videos every single day about getting my first $1,000 a month. Then I met someone who's making $30,000 a month. And I was like, whoa, you can make this much money. And then my goal was like making $1 million in a year. I was playing this short game, right? It was like, do this stuff really fast, get this money, and then retire and continue traveling around the world. That was also a recipe for not great success and not great mental health because there's a lot of pressure to put on oneself to win the game in 3 months. So, we're playing in decades. When I started realizing that life is more this infinite game rather than a finite game. And the game of business is more of an infinite game. We get to go in there, stack these skills, and play in decades. It's not about getting rich. It's about building skill sets and growing for the rest of your life. Once again, if you have no time, no money, no network, these things are all fixable. We are God's highest forms of creation. We have the ability to create the lives of our dreams, and we get to show up and overcome each of these things. If you're having mindset issues, I highly suggest that you read Napoleon Hill's Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. It's a really incredible book, and that can help you to also Goals by Brian Tracy. Write your goals down every single day for the next 6 months. There are ways to hack our brains, right? Our minds, if we're stuck in this scarcity loop, that's because it's what we've been trained. That's what our brain's been conditioned to do. Neuroplasticity is how you train the neurons within your brain. You can strengthen neural ties and you have to create new neural pathways. You keep going back into scarcity, repeating the same results, having the same issues. You need to break that and break into a new neural pathway, right? And how do you do that? You do that by filling your brain with really good stuff. Final thing, if you want to work together, I sometimes do direct mentorships. You can work directly with me. We have a community of 65, 70 people doing these types of deals all over the country, all helping each other. We have 4 coaches. All of them have done over 100 transactions. One does 100 transactions per year. One has 100 rentals. The other has 70 properties. If you want to surround yourself by people that are doing this, reach out to me. There are links in my school. You can reach out to me directly. You'll figure out a way to get a hold of me. Get a hold of me. Change those 5 people you're spending the most time with into people that are doing this over and over again. If you want to break through the feeling that it's not possible and be surrounded by people that are living it and doing it, then reach out to me directly. We sometimes have slots. I would love to work with you. I hope that overall this video has been very helpful. Kind of see my mindset and my thought process around doing new things, business, and learning how to do this stuff. And you can see how I've always thought about it. And this has always led to results. It's always led to success because there's no other option except for success. The ones who have these back doors and have this mindset of I'm just going to check it out and look at it, aren't fully committed, they're not going to get results, right? Results come from full commitment. But if you're fully committed and you're going to take the next steps forward and you're taking action, and you're still watching this video, it could be a sign, right? Step in, take the action and do it. You don't need to come from anything. I came from very, very little. I was a backpacker. I had very little capital behind me. When we started our real estate business, I had zero knowledge and I put $3,000 into the business. You can do it. If you enjoyed this video, if you're still watching right now, send me a comment below saying, hey, I watched this entire video. It makes me feel good. Make me know that people are enjoying these videos. So comment below and I'll see you on the next one.